What if everything you have been told about attraction is wrong, and the real reason she loses interest has nothing to do with your looks, your money, or even your words, but something much deeper that most men never learn? What if the truth is that the more you try to impress her, the less she feels, and the moment you stop chasing, something inside her starts pulling her closer to you? This is where most men fail without even realizing it, because they focus on doing more, saying more, proving more, while the men who truly stand out are doing the opposite and getting better results without effort. The reality is simple but uncomfortable. Attraction is not logical for a woman, it is emotional, psychological, and deeply instinctive, and if you don't understand this, you will always feel like you are trying harder than you should. She does not fall for your words, she falls for the feeling you create without trying, and that feeling comes from your presence, your control, and your energy. This is where Stoic behavior becomes powerful, because when you control yourself, you control the emotional space around you, and she responds to that in ways she cannot even explain. The first thing that makes a woman feel deeply drawn to you is emotional calm in situations where most men lose control. This is something very few men truly understand. When she teases you, challenges you, disagrees with you, or even pulls back a little, she is not always trying to create problems. Many times, she is simply observing you. She is watching how you react under pressure. She wants to see if you are stable or if you are easily shaken. Most men fail at this point because they react immediately. They become defensive, they try to explain themselves, they try to win the moment, and in doing that, they lose something much bigger. They lose the sense of strength that comes from being calm. But when you stay relaxed, when you don't rush to react, when you show that her behavior does not control your emotions, you send a very powerful message without speaking. You show that you are grounded. You show that you are not easily affected. You show emotional strength. And to her, this feels safe and attractive at the same time. A calm man in a tense moment stands out more than a loud man trying to prove a point, because calmness signals control, and control signals strength. The second thing that creates attraction is controlled attention. This is something most people will never say openly, but it is one of the most important truths. Women do not fall for men who give them constant, unlimited attention. In fact, too much attention too quickly often reduces attraction. What creates interest is attention that feels earned. When you are not always available, when you do not reply instantly every time, when you do not chase every conversation, something interesting starts to happen in her mind. She begins to notice the difference. She starts asking herself why you are not like the others. She feels curiosity. She feels a small sense of mystery. And curiosity is the beginning of attraction. When your attention is not freely given, it becomes valuable. This does not mean playing games or ignoring her on purpose, it means having a life that does not revolve around her. When you are focused on your own goals, your work, your purpose, your growth, your attention naturally becomes limited. And when she senses that your life is full without her, she begins to want to be part of it. Scarcity creates value, and a man who values his own time automatically becomes more attractive. The third thing that makes her feel something strong is mystery created by restraint. Most men talk too much because they think more words will impress her. They try to explain everything about themselves, they overshare, they try to fill every silence, and in doing that, they remove all mystery. But attraction grows in the unknown. When you speak less, when you answer simply, when you allow pauses in conversation, her mind begins to work. She starts to wonder about you. She starts to imagine things about you. And the truth is, her imagination will often create a version of you that is more attractive than anything you could say directly. This is why restraint is powerful. When you do not reveal everything at once, you create space for curiosity. Small actions start to matter more. A slight smile, calm eye contact, a relaxed tone, these things create a kind of tension that she cannot fully explain, but she feels it. And that feeling slowly builds into attraction. You do not need to entertain constantly or prove yourself with words. Sometimes, saying less creates more impact than saying everything. The fourth thing that makes a deep impression is quiet confidence without the need for validation. Many men are constantly looking for signs that she likes them. They want compliments, they want reassurance, they want confirmation that they are doing well. But what truly stands out is the man who does not need these things to feel confident. When you are comfortable with yourself, when you do not look for approval, when you do not try to impress, you send a very strong signal. You show that your sense of worth comes from within, not from her reaction. This changes the dynamic completely. Instead of you trying to win her attention, she starts becoming aware of you in a different way. She begins to notice that you are not seeking validation like others. She starts to feel that your attention is not easy to get. And slowly, the roles begin to shift. She starts thinking about what she can do to stand out to you. She becomes more invested. This is not about acting distant or cold, it is about being secure in yourself. When you know your value, you do not feel the need to prove it, and that quiet certainty is extremely attractive. The fifth thing that creates a strong emotional pull is emotional non-neediness. This is where many men struggle the most, because neediness often feels natural when you like someone. You want to spend more time with her, you want to talk more, you want to feel close, and without realizing it, you start depending on her responses for your mood. This creates pressure. When your happiness starts depending on her attention, she can feel it. And instead of bringing her closer, it often pushes her away. Emotional non-neediness means you enjoy her presence, but you do not depend on it. You appreciate her, but you are not attached to outcomes. You can walk away if needed, not because you want to lose her, but because you respect yourself enough not to chase what is not freely given. This creates a completely different energy. When you are not needy, your actions feel lighter, more natural, more confident. You are not trying to force anything. And that ease is attractive because it shows strength and self-control. It shows that you are choosing her, not depending on her. All of these things come back to one simple idea: the way you make her feel is more important than anything you say. And those feelings are created by your behavior, your energy, and your emotional control. When you stop trying to impress and start focusing on controlling yourself, everything begins to shift. You become calmer, more focused, more grounded, and that changes how she experiences you. She feels something different, something she cannot easily explain, but something she is drawn to. And that is the real advantage, because most men never reach this level of understanding. They stay stuck in the cycle of doing more and getting less, while the man who learns control starts doing less and getting more. This is not about manipulation or tricks, it is about understanding human nature. It is about realizing that attraction is not built through effort alone, but through presence and control. When you master your reactions, your attention, your words, your confidence, and your emotional independence, you create an environment where attraction can grow naturally. And once you understand this, you stop chasing and start attracting without forcing anything. That is where everything begins to change, not just in how women respond to you, but in how you see yourself. Most men never realize that the real shift they need is not in what they do, but in how they think. Everything starts with a simple but powerful mindset change. You don't talk to her because you need her in your life, you talk to her because you choose to. That one difference changes your entire energy. When you need someone, your actions become heavy, emotional, and pressured. But when you choose someone, your actions feel light, confident, and natural. The same words can come out of your mouth, but the feeling behind them becomes completely different. And that feeling is what she actually responds to. You don't stay calm because you are trying to look cool or impress her. You stay calm because deep inside, you are not afraid of losing her. This is where real strength comes from. When you remove the fear of loss, your behavior becomes stable. You don't overthink every message, you don't panic when she takes time to reply, you don't feel the need to fix every small change in her mood. You remain centered. And this energy is powerful because it is rare. When she feels that you are okay with or without her, she starts feeling something she cannot easily explain. She feels drawn toward you. This happens because women are naturally attracted to men who are emotionally self-sufficient, men who do not depend on others to feel complete. The man who is not afraid to walk away is the man she becomes afraid to lose. This may sound strange at first, but it reflects a deep truth about human nature. When you show that you can leave if something is not right, you communicate self-respect. You show that your standards matter. And when someone senses that they are not your only option, their perception of your value increases. Most men do the opposite. They try to hold on tighter, they try to do more, they try to prove more, and in doing that, they slowly reduce their own value in her eyes. Attraction is not built through desperation, it is built through quiet confidence and self-control. Many men believe that attraction is about increasing effort. They think more texting, more compliments, more attention, and more chasing will bring her closer. But in reality, this often creates the opposite effect. Stoic thinking teaches something very different. Attraction grows when you start doing less, but with more presence. Less talking, more observing what is actually happening. Less reacting emotionally, more understanding the situation calmly. Less chasing her attention, more choosing when and how you give yours. This balance changes everything because now your actions feel intentional, not forced. What she is really responding to is not your effort, but the emotional experience she has when she is around you. When you are calm, she feels safe. When you are slightly mysterious, she feels curious. When you are not completely predictable, she feels intrigued. When you are emotionally stable, she feels comfortable opening up. These emotions together create a powerful experience. And the interesting part is, she may not even be able to explain why she enjoys being around you so much. She just knows that something feels different. She feels a shift in her own emotions, and that becomes addictive. This is the level most men never reach because they are too focused on performance. They try to act a certain way, say certain lines, follow certain rules, all to get a reaction. But when you truly understand these principles, you stop performing completely. You stop trying to win her over. You stop thinking about every small move. Instead, you simply exist in your natural frame. You become present. You become real. And strangely, this is when attraction becomes strongest. Authenticity combined with emotional control creates a powerful presence that cannot be easily ignored. She does not feel drawn to you because you are loud or overly expressive. She feels drawn to you because you are composed. Your calmness stands out in a world where most people are reactive. She does not feel attracted because you chase her constantly. She feels attracted because you are centered in your own life. Your focus is not fully on her, and that makes your attention meaningful. She does not feel impressed because you try too hard. She feels something deeper because you are unaffected by small things. Your stability creates trust, and your restraint creates curiosity. When she sees that her emotions do not shake you easily, her respect for you increases. She begins to see you as someone strong and grounded. When she notices that your attention is not easy to gain, she values it more. What is rare always feels more important. When she senses that you are not completely predictable, her curiosity grows. She starts thinking about you even when you are not around. When she realizes that you are not seeking validation, she begins to give it to you naturally. And when she feels that you are emotionally independent, she feels safe enough to open up emotionally herself. This is something very few people openly talk about. Attraction is not really about how much effort you put in. It is about the emotional experience you create. And the man who can control his own emotions is the one who controls that experience. This does not mean controlling her or manipulating her. It means mastering yourself. When you understand your own reactions, when you manage your emotions, when you stay grounded no matter what happens, you create a stable environment that feels different from what she is used to. So the next time you interact with her, do not focus only on what to say. Instead, focus on how you are being in that moment. Be calm in your tone and actions. Be measured in your responses. Be present instead of distracted. Be unfazed by small changes. Let her feel your stillness. Let her notice that you are not trying too hard. Because when you stop trying to force attraction, attraction begins to happen naturally. It flows instead of being pushed. And once you truly understand this, you realize something important. You do not need tricks, lines, or complicated strategies. Those things may work for a short time, but they do not create real connection. What you need is emotional mastery. You need the ability to stay steady within yourself. You need a stoic presence that does not get shaken easily. When you reach that point, your energy changes. You become someone who naturally attracts instead of chases. At that level, something interesting happens. Her emotions start responding to yours. Your calmness makes her feel calm. Your mystery makes her feel curious. Your independence makes her feel secure. It is almost like her emotional state begins to move around yours. And that is when attraction becomes effortless. She feels something strong without fully understanding why. She feels pulled toward you without you trying to pull her. This is the truth most men never hear or never fully understand. They stay stuck trying harder, doing more, and wondering why nothing changes. But the real change begins inside. When you shift your mindset, when you control your emotions, when you stop needing and start choosing, everything else starts falling into place. And that is the moment when attraction is no longer something you chase, it becomes something that naturally comes to you.